As the sun sets here in Swampscott and the field lights come on here at Bloxage Field, it is time for the MIAA tournament against Swampscott Big Blue and Greater Lowell Technical High. Hi everybody, thanks for joining me here tonight. I'm Josh Harriman, commentating for this great soccer game against two great high schools.
One, two, three, good man! Yo, everybody, use your speed. Go, bro! You good? You good? Let's go! Let's go!
And here we go, the first 40 minutes of the soccer match between Swampscott and Greater Lowell Technical High School. Pasco passing the ball over to 7. Oh, my mistake. Taken away by Fredrickson for Swampscott, goes out of bounds, and Swampscott will get possession of the ball. Fredrickson throws it in for Swampscott, taken away by 33 for Lowell. Lowell bringing it down towards Swampscott area, taken away by Bailey for Swampscott. Lowell regaining the ball, but taken right away from Swampscott. As Fredrickson passes it over to Kimbrough. Kimbrough bringing it over to but it's taken right away from Swampscott by Lowell, right back to Swampscott.
Sean, if we have to give one the ball to the goalie.
And the ball goes out of bounds on Lowell, and Swampscott throws it right back in.
So if you have to get out.
Lowell throwing it back in, but she was there to try and take it away, but is unsuccessful. But with the help of Palmer, Swampscott gets it back. Lowell bringing it down towards Swampscott territory, bringing it along the far side of the field. Lowell with the kick over, almost by goal, but a little bit far to the left as it goes out of bounds, and Swampscott will get the ball. And Charlie Olberg, the goalie, will kick it in for Swampscott. As he sends it down the field towards midway, over to Fredrickson, taken away by Lowell. Lowell still has possession of the ball as Swampscott rushes to try to get the ball back before it gets out of bounds, but is unsuccessful as Lowell keeps possession of the ball. Lowell wasting no time trying to bring it back in, but goes out of bounds. And Swampscott will boot it right back down near center field. Goes right back out of bounds. Swampscott keeps on throwing it in, and Lowell keeps on kicking it back out. Swampscott again with the throw in, taken away by Lowell. Interfered by Fredrickson for Swampscott. Fredrickson keeping the ball for Swampscott. Over to Kimbrough. Kimbrough almost open. Passes over, and the goalie for Lowell save it. Almost the first goal here in the period for Swampscott, but unsuccessful. A very close chance. And as Lowell kicks it back towards center field, Fredrickson with the headbutt over to Arendo. Back to Fredrickson. Fredrickson keeping possession of the ball in midfield. Looking for an open player, boots it down the field. Kimbrough right there, will he get it in time? But Lowell stay there. And as the whistle blows, it goes out on Swampscott. And Lowell have possession of the ball. Lowell boots it down towards center field once again. Only to be taken away by Spelios for Swampscott. Over to Fredrickson. Over to Mandy, and out on Swampscott it looks like. Lowell throws it in. Lowell with possession of the ball as his Swampscott kicks it out. Lowell throwing it right back in to waste no time. Swampscott fighting for possession. Almost successful getting it back for Swampscott as they're fighting near Swampscott territory, but it's unsuccessful as Lowell keeps the ball. Lowell with a nice kick, but is unsuccessful as Swampscott brings it down towards midfield, boots it. As Barad brings it over to Fredrickson, down to Kimbrough. Kimbrough almost open. Kimbrough and Fredrickson doing everything they can so Lowell doesn't get it back, but Lowell does, bringing it fast down midfield. They are at midfield and is rapidly heading towards Swampscott territory, but goes out of bounds. And it appears Lowell will keep the ball as it goes out on Swampscott. Lowell throw in. Great passing by Lowell. And Fredrickson almost with the kick. And Charlie Olberg with the save for Swampscott. Charlie Olberg with the boot straight to center field. Headbutted by Lowell. But will go nowhere as Palmer will get it back for Swampscott. Bring it over Barad. Barad bringing it down to Lowell territory. He cannot be stopped. But whistle blows and Lowell will get possession of the ball. Lowell throwing it right back in to waste no time. Boots it down towards center field. Taken away by Leponte. Boots it back down, taken away by Lowell. Lowell just booting it back and forth. Lowell with great passing, but Kimbrough's Costa Shube is there to stop it, bring it back for Swampscott. Bring it back to Mandy. Over to Barad. And it goes out of bounds, and it looks like Swampscott will get possession of the ball after a couple of minutes with Lowell having possession. Rob's kicking goes slightly left of the goal, going out of bounds, and Lowell with possession of the ball once again. And with the kick for Lowell going straight to center field. Shube there to stop it for Swampscott. Passing over to Barad. Taken away by Lowell. Shube with another save for Swampscott, but Lowell takes it right back. Shube once again, passing it over to Barad. Over to Orlando. Orlando with great footwork, keeping the ball for Swampscott. Passing it back over to Shub. Shub giving possession of the ball as it goes into Lowell territory. Lowell taking it back, but whistle is blown, and Swampscott keeps possession of the ball. It looks like it's going to be a kick in by number 10 for Swampscott, Arendono.
Go Fred! Fred!
Arendono with the kick, almost towards the goal, but is stopped by Lowell. But luckily, Shub's there. Goes a little bit too high over the net, and it looks like Lowell will get repossession of the ball.
Let's go!
And with the kick for Lowell, bringing it straight to the center field. Shub with possession of the ball, kind of bringing it back over to Kimbrough, saving it for Swampscott after possession of Lowell. With Barad, with possession of the ball, trying to stop it from going outside. He does. Goes over one Lowell player's head, but Lowell gets it back. And whistle is blown, and Lowell gets possession of the ball as it goes out of bounds on Swampscott. Swampscott trying to keep possession of the ball, but it was taken away by Lowell right away. And Lowell boots it down towards Swampscott territory, but is stopped by Spelios for Swampscott. Spelios trying to keep the ball in play, but goes out of bounds on Lowell, and Swampscott keeps possession of the ball. Spelios kicks it back in to DeCamp. DeCamp back over to Pittman. Pittman almost to pass to Kimbrough, but it's taken away by 7 for Lowell. They are fighting it. They are fighting for the ball in Swampscott territory. And as the whistle blows, it seems that Swampscott will get possession of the ball. And Swampscott with the throw-in. Goes right back out of bounds on Lowell. Kimbrough with the powerful throw. Over to Barad, goes out of bounds, and Lowell gets possession of the ball. Lowell with the throw in. Stopped by Pittman for Swampscott. Pittman and one other play for Lowell as whistle blows. As it seems that Swampscott might get possession of the ball.
Yo, Jack.
And that is correct. Swampscott does get possession of the ball as Palmer seems to be kicking it in for Swampscott. Palmer with the wide up and a great boot by Palmer straight over to Camp. And Lowell kicks it back as Palmer kicks it high over to Swampscott. And as Arendono gets it towards center field, past center field, gets it booted away by Lowell. Lowell and Swampscott fighting for the ball outside of Swampscott territory. And with a save by Olberg, Lowell has a chance of scoring here early in the first period, but Olberg denies it. Olberg booting it towards center field, taken for Orlando for Swampscott. Passing it over to Pittman for Swampscott. Over to Orlando, over to Kimbrough. Kimbrough is double teamed, taken back by Lowell. Lowell has the ball at center field. As you see, Mandy just sprinting full speed towards the ball, trying to get it back for Swampscott. As the ball goes out of bounds on Lowell, and Swampscott gets repossession of the ball. With Spelios with the throw-in. Goes out of bounds, and Lowell will get possession of the ball. Lowell wasting no time in throwing it back in, keeping possession near Swampscott territory. Lowell boots it towards goal. Stopped by Fredrickson. Over to Shube. Taken away by Lowell. Lowell getting into Swampscott territory. Lowell with the boot. And a great stop by Olberg as he just takes it away, throwing it right back into action over to Kimbrough. Kimbrough booting it down the Lowell territory to Barad. And as the whistle blows and people don't seem to be happy as Swampscott keeps the ball. And Rendono has possession of the ball for Swampscott. And it seems to be a penalty kick. A great kick by Arendo. But Lowell takes it right back, bringing it down towards center field. Rendono is trying to stop it with the best all he can. He's almost successful as it goes through through his legs as they go down into the Swampscott territory. And as ball is thrown back into action, Lowell still has possession of the ball, but as Palmer trying to take it back for Swampscott, goes out of bounds, and Lowell gets repossession of the ball. With the throw in over to Swampscott. It's hard to see as they were in the corner of Swampscott territory. Lowell with the kick. Great passing by Lowell. Kimbrough staying on top of with the ball as Lowell still keeps possession near Swampscott territory, but brings it back to center field. Lowell trying to bring it back closer into Swampscott territory near the goal. But with Palmer kicking it away, but Lowell bringing it right back as nothing happened. And whistle blows as it's Swampscott's ball. And as the camp with the kick down to Shube for Swampscott. Bring it over to Spelios. Spelios bringing it down center field. Taken away by Lowell. Over to Fredrickson. Kicks it way down to Barad. Barad bringing it down to Lowell territory as he waits for the rest of his teammates to pass it open. Goes a little bit too far past. It gets taken away by Lowell and Rendono. Pardon me. Lowell takes it back, bringing it near Swampscott territory. But Swampscott is trying all their best to keep them from scoring. As Shube gets into the play, almost taking it away back for Swampscott. And Olberg with almost letting it slide away as a goal, but luckily saves it as it just almost goes in. It's still 0-0 for Swampscott and Lowell. Charlie Olberg with the great kick to center field, taking it back by Lowell. Mandy kicks it over the Shube. Shube over to Barad. Barad over to Rendono. Lowell almost taking it back for them, but Swampscott keeping it into Lowell territory as great passing has happened, but it takes right back by Lowell. Lowell has it near center field, kicks it way down to Swampscott territory, and as Olberg is there to save it, before Lowell even gets a chance to try to touch the ball in their territory. Lowell with a high boot up into the air. And a great save by Swampscott. With Kimbrough with possession of the ball for Swampscott, taken right back by Lowell. Lowell tries to boot it down, but Swampscott kicks it right back to center field. Taken once again by Lowell. Shoup trying to take it back for Swampscott, but is taken right back by Lowell. Lowell trying their hardest to get closer and closer to the net, but Swampscott is not allowing them. As Lowell almost has a chance, but Kimbrough is there to stop him. And as the ball goes out of bounds on Lowell, Swampscott will get the ball. Oberg with the kick, almost near center field, straight to a Lowell player. Lowell boots it, and as Oberg saves it for Swampscott, right back where they started. Oberg with another great boot. It's a high one. And as Fredrickson's there to hit it straight towards Lowell territory, Kimbrough with the kick, bringing it closer down the territory. But as Barad is there with the ball, he's getting closer to one-on-one, tips it, and Swampscott scores! Max Mandy bringing the point, finally breaks the tie, 0-0 with 19:50 left in the first period. Swampscott 1, Lowell nothing here in the MIAA tournament. That is something you definitely want to see, definitely playing at home field. Having one of your own home soccer team scoring the first point in the soccer game as Lowell brings it off with possession of the ball in their own territory. Lowell bringing it into the midfield for nearing Swampscott territory. Almost going out of bounds, but luckily Lowell saves it. Lowell teasing Swampscott by getting Mandy closer, and with the great headbutt by Spelios for Swampscott. Arredondo passes it over to Keeney with a great headbutt. Kimbrough saving it, keeping the possession of the ball for Swampscott as he's four-man blocked. Lowell takes it back, but Kimbrough is not giving up, as it goes straight to Shoup for Swampscott at center field. Shoup boots it down, but is taken away by Lowell. Lowell trying to bring it back towards Swampscott territory. They have it at center field. Lowell has it closer in Swampscott territory. Will they be able to score, but is saved by Shoup. Almost having a chance, but is unsuccessful as Shoup is there to save it. And Oberg, my mistake. A little bit over 18 minutes left in the first period. Oberg with the kick. It's gonna land straight on Arredondo. Kimbrough with the headbutt, but is taken away by Lowell. Swampscott with the save. Is taken back by Lowell, but as the whistle is blown, Swampscott gets possession of the ball as he's blocked out of the way. Lowell doesn't seem happy about that. And Arredondo with the boot straight down into Lowell territory. Shoup's there with possession of the ball for Swampscott. Great passing by Swampscott. Back to Shoup from Barad. Barad keeping possession of the ball for Swampscott, passing over the Shoup, taken away by Lowell. Mandy there trying to stop it and take it back for Swampscott, but it's unsuccessful as Lowell keeps possession of the ball as they're getting closer to center field. Lowell with the boot to center field, but Kimbrough almost there to stop it as Lowell boots it down to Swampscott territory. But Better shoot. Spelios is there to stop it. Lowell takes it right back. Straight pass to Spelios from Lowell. Over to shoot, but it's unsuccessful as Lowell takes it back in as Fredrickson gets into a fight for the ball for Swampscott. Lowell takes it back for themselves into Swampscott territory. And with a kick, it is out of bounds. It is saved by Olberg, almost heading out of bounds. Swampscott is definitely here not to mess around. They want to advance more in the MIAA tournament. And as Olberg signals them to go down, it's a high boot up in the air. Over to Fredrickson. Fredrickson packs it a little bit over Barad. Lowell getting possession of the ball back, but as Mandy's there to take it back for Swampscott, but is slightly taken back to center field by Lowell. Lowell trying to bring it back into Swampscott territory, trying to score as Swampscott has 1 point up in the lead, but goes straight to Olberg. And Olberg throws it right back out with no hesitation. Over the lay punt, taken away by Lowell, but taken right back by Shube. Shube boots it down to Lowell territory, but it's taken back by Lowell. And as Pittman's there to save it for Swampscott, back over to Rendondo. Dondo with the kick over to Lowell territory, saves by Lowell goal. And with no hesitation, kicks it down to center field, almost entering Swampscott territory. Is able to get past by Swampscott. Charlie Olberg with the slide, saving it almost with a shot on goal, but is a little bit too high for the net. Goes right over in between. As Olberg kicks it to Swampscott, to Fredrickson, over to Camp, over to Shube. Shube boots it down, but is stopped by Lowell. Lowell brings it back into center field to one of their other players. Lowell booting it down to Swampscott territory. It is stopped by Olberg once again. Olberg with the kick. It is another high pop-up over to Fredrickson. Fredrickson passes it over to Rendondo, over to Spelios, but goes out of bounds as Kimbo tries to get it, but Lowell gets possession of the ball. As the timeout is called, with 13:37 left in the first period, Swampscott with 1, Lowell with nothing. Swampscott with a so far great lead here in the MIAA tournament for this game.
Griffins, fuck the blue.
Trying to line it up.
I didn't know you could call timeout. Big cheese. Wait, no. You're like, the fire. That's it.
And as the timeout is broken up, Swampscott gets back in position. So is Lowell here with 13:37 in the first period. Swampscott 1, Lowell nothing.
Wait over. Thomas, over.
And Lowell with the throw-in. And right away, Fredrickson with the headbutt trying to get it back for Swampscott, but is unsuccessful. Spelios with the headbutt. Lowell back and forth with the headbutt and trying to keep the ball in play, but goes out of bounds. And Lowell keeps possession of the ball, throwing it right back in without delay. Spelios with another headbutt right to Lowell. Lowell keeping the ball down in the Swampscott territory. Goes out of bounds. And looks like Swampscott will get possession of the ball. Swampscott with the throw-in. Over to Kimbrough. Kimbrough trying to bring it down towards center field. Right back to Lowell. Fredrickson with the kick. Goes out of bounds, and Swampscott keeps possession of the ball. Swampscott with the throw-in. It goes straight out of bounds. And Lowell bringing it right back to Swampscott territory. Lowell with the throw-in. Goes right back out of bounds, and Swampscott gets possession of the ball. Swampscott with the straight throw-in. A little bit past Kimbrough, but Lowell gets it back for themselves. Kimbrough boots it down the field. Will Lowell be able to stop it in time? They will. And it goes back to Lowell, but Kimbrough is right there to take it back. A great kick. Lowell with stealing it back. It's a high pop-up, and it might go out of bounds. And it will. Swampscott with possession of the ball. Swampscott's throwing it straight back in over two Lowell players' heads. And it goes out of bounds, and Lowell will get possession of the ball. Lowell getting ready for the kick. It's a kick towards center field. Stays in, but Spelios is there to take it back for Swampscott. Lowell trying to take it back for themselves. As Rendondo tries to get it, but is unsuccessful. As Kimbrough is there to take it back from Lowell. Lowell boots it down near Swampscott territory, but is unsuccessful as Croft is there passing over to Kimbrough. And Barad is there to keep it for Swampscott. Passing it over to Kimbrough. Kimbrough almost an open man. Is blocked. But Barad is there to keep it for Swampscott. Blocked off a Lowell player. Lowell keeping it in play as it looks like it's almost kicked out of bounds. Lowell bringing it back towards center field, keeping possession of the ball. Lowell bringing it down towards Swampscott territory. Spelios with the kick, and it goes out of bounds. And Lowell will keep the ball in Swampscott's territory.
That's the trainer.
And as it seems a corner kick, Lowell almost getting possession of the ball. Charlie Olberg with the great save. And a great save by Charlie Olberg. Acting like a hockey player in soccer. just bear hugging the ball, making sure it goes nowhere near Swampscott's goal with 9:37 left in the first period. Olberg with the kick. It's a high one towards center field. And Lowell tries to take it back. Is successful, but as Ramos tries to get it for Swampscott, Lowell boots it down towards Swampscott territory where Spelios taking it back for Swampscott. Arredondo keeping it for Swampscott, trying to bring it out of Swampscott territory, but Lowell brings it right back in. A great boot by Lowell, but is Olberg's there to save it once again for Swampscott as it's almost a close goal. Olberg with another kick, heading straight to center field. Taken away by Lowell. Lowell just kicking it near Swampscott territory. Now he's bringing it dangerously close to the net, but Spelios is there to stop it. But taken right back by Lowell. Arredondo trying to stop it. Lowell's nearing Swampscott's goal. Almost successful, but Olberg is there once again to stop it, giving Lowell no chance to score. As both teams are trying to move on in the MIAA tournament. A roll pass to Spelios. Spelios booting it down to Pittman. Pittman trying to keep possession of the ball as he's double manned over to Arredondo. Taking it back for Lowell is number 8. Bringing it down towards center field. Now back entering Swampscott territory. Lowell booting it down to the other side of the field in Swampscott territory. But is met by Spelios and his huge kick down to Lowell territory. Pittman is 1-on-2. Will Pittman score? Pittman almost will, but with the tip of the goalie, it is unsuccessful and it goes out of bounds. Pittman with an almost shot on goal. And with a corner kick by Pittman. Pittman passes this to Arredondo. Taken away by Lowell. Lowell rapidly bringing it down to Swampscott territory near center field. Stopped by Spelios twice. Lowell high kicking it over, trying to get it out of Swampscott's possession. But Fredrickson's there to keep it for Swampscott, passing over to Arredondo. And as Mandy tries to get it for Swampscott, it's unsuccessful as it bounces over the field skate. And out of play, Swampscott will keep possession of the ball with Sawson throwing it in for Swampscott. Sawson with a straight pass to Arredondo, taken away by Lowell. Boots it to center field, where Croft will keep Swampscott, goes out of bounds on Swampscott, and Lowell throwing it right back in with no hesitation. Lowell with the throw in. Keeping possession of the ball as it heads center field, bringing it towards the middle of the field where it goes past Pittman. Over to Ramos. Ramos with a heavy boot, but a stop by Fredrickson. And taking it back by Lowell, goes out of bounds as he slides out. And Fredrickson will throw it back in for Swampscott. Fredrickson with a powerful throw down over to Pittman. Pittman is double teamed. He's getting closer to the goal. It's a high one. It is almost in, but is stopped by the goalie. If Pittman wouldn't make it in, it would have been Mandy there with the assist, but with a far kick by the Lowell goalkeeper. Fredrickson with possession of the ball for Swampscott, bringing it back towards center field. Attempting to bring it towards Lowell territory. Stopped center field by Lowell. Lowell bringing it into Swampscott territory. as he boots it towards the goal. Oh, low. Charlie Olberg with another save for Swampscott. Every attempt on goal Lowell has, he has stopped it. Olberg is unstoppable at being goalie tonight. A powerful kick towards center field for Swampscott. With Barad there to keep Swampscott. Taken away by Lowell. But Rendondo is there to keep it, but taken back by Lowell near center field. As Lowell kicks it towards center field, trying to keep it away from Swampscott's players. As Fredrickson is there to try to stop it. Ramos is there. Lowell has it in Swampscott's territory. They are in danger, but it's booted out of bounds, nowhere near the goal. And Swampscott will get possession of the ball. A little under 3 minutes and 20 seconds left here in the first. Swampscott leads 1-0 in the MIAA tournament. Olberg with a powerful kick towards center field. Gets taken away by Lowell. Lowell bringing it back into Swampscott territory. Buck goes right out of bounds, and Swampscott will resume where they have started. Swampscott with the throw-in. Taken away by Lowell. As Lowell is trying to find a way to get it into Swampscott's net. Unsuccessful as Swampscott brings it down near center field as it's passed over to Kimbrough, over to Rendondo. Rendondo boots it down the field into Lowell territory as Lowell is able to stop it with Lowell's goalkeeper with a powerful boot, kicking it past center field. Lowell kicking it way down into Swampscott territory as it goes out of bounds. And it seems Swampscott will throw it back in. As they throw it back in with little under 2 minutes left here in the first period. Lowell again keeping possession of the ball from Swampscott. Kicking it back and forth, nearing Swampscott territory, but Rendondo's there to kick it back for Swampscott. Over to Kimbrough. Almost taken away from Pittman. Lowell takes it back into their own territory, trying to bring it towards center field, but Pittman is there to take it back for Swampscott, but is taken right back by Lowell, bringing it into center field. As Rendondo tries to fight for it, Lowell keeps possession of the ball, nearing Swampscott territory. Lowell is almost able to get it into Swampscott's net. Unsuccessful as players are there. And as Fredrickson is kicked, saved by Olberg. A great save by Charlie Olberg. And it seems to be a corner kick for Lowell. The kick for Lowell is intercepted is undertaken by Spelios. Rendondo kicks it to center field over to Barad. Barad bringing it down to Lowell territory. He's with the kick, but is saved by Lowell's goalkeeper. With a high kick from Lowell's goalkeeper, straight to Rendondo, taken back by Lowell. Lowell kicks it straight down to the Swampscott territory, but it seems like it's going to go out of bounds, and Swampscott will get repossession of the ball. Olberg getting ready for the kick. Kicking it far over to Fredrickson. Goes over Fredrickson, is taken away by Lowell. Shub gets in the way of Lowell, keeping it away. And as the whistle blows, that will do it for the first period. The score stays at 1-0 Swampscott here in the MIAA tournament, where it's make or break for both teams, as both teams want to possess into the next round.
This is a message from Swampscott Field Hockey. Tomorrow night we play Foxborough and you have the opportunity to come and support us. If you're interested, we have a fan bus that is free of charge. Go to the table at the gate for more info. Now, please welcome some seniors for a t-shirt toss. If you don't catch one, don't be sad. You can buy one up front. Go Blue!
You're losing. Those are teammates. Give it to the girl. Give it to the girl. Swampscott kick. Oh, we got this! Yeah. I'm gonna rip that shit right off your head. Yeah, we got this.
Go, bro.
And here we go, another 40 minutes set up on the scoreboard. 1-0 for Swampscott here in the MIAA tournament. As Swampscott gets possession of the ball, goes out of bounds on Lowell. Swampscott throwing it straight back in with no hesitation. Taken back by Lowell. Lowell booting it down in Swampscott territory, where Palmer saves it for Swampscott, goes out of bounds, and Lowell throwing it right back in. Lowell throwing it back in as it goes out of bounds on Swampscott. Lowell keeping possession of the ball in Swampscott territory. As whistle is blown and Swampscott keeps possession of the ball in their own territory.
Go, 7. Come on, Freddie boy. Give me a look, 7. Yeah, baby, I love that. Stun it. Stun it.
Let's go, Griffin!
Holberg with the kick near center field over to Fredrickson.
Let's go!
From Bailey over to Rendondo. Over to Barad. Barad bringing it down to Lowell territory. Barad keeping possession of the ball for Swampscott in Lowell territory. Booted away from Lowell. As Lowell keeps possession of the ball as it passes center field nearing Swampscott territory, where Lowell's met by multiple Swampscott players. Lowell trying to keep the ball away from Swampscott as they bring it nearing center field. Lowell boots it away, but as Spelios is there to headbutt it away from the goal. Passing over to Barad, bringing it past center field for Swampscott. Barad is making his way down near Lowell territory. Broad has a shot on goal, unsuccessful. Swampscott almost getting another chance to score. Rendondo with a kick, and it goes high off one of the players and goes out of bounds. And Lowell throws it right back in, but Fredrickson is there to keep it for Swampscott, and Lowell boots it right back out of bounds. Swampscott throwing it right back in, goes past Pittman. Lowell keeping possession of the ball in their own territory. It's a high kick near center field, almost going out of bounds. And Swampscott just lets it go out of bounds as they throw it right back into play with no hesitation over to Rendondo. Back over to Croft, Swampscott. Lowell boots into the Swampscott territory. He's taken him back by Palmer. Palmer passes over to Shube, where it's taken away by Lowell. Kimbrough over to Pittman. Over to Kimbrough. Kimbrough almost with a shot on goal, but Lowell's goalie's right there to save it, throwing it right back out into action. Over to Lowell. 9-15 trying to stop Fredrickson from getting the ball. 11 keeping things tight and pressured for Shube as he kicks it back over to Palmer. Over to Spelios. Spelios back to Palmer. Palmer over to Croft. Croft boots it down over to Rendondo. Rendondo boots it down into Lowell territory, where 32 kicks it out of bounds for Lowell, and Swampscott keeps possession of the ball in Lowell territory. Swampscott throwing it right back in. As Spelios is there, pass it over to Pittman, taken away by Lowell. Rendondo back for Swampscott, a little bit too high over the net, goes out of bounds. And Lowell will get possession of the ball here in the second period. Here's forward with the kick for Lowell, bringing it near center field, where Fredrickson tries to headbutt it for Swampscott into Lowell territory, but it's unsuccessful as 39's there for Lowell. Spelios for Swampscott, bringing it back into play for Swampscott. Pardon me. Over to Rendondo, nearing Lowell's goal, almost an open man. Lowell's goalie's there to save it, throws it right back into play. Lowell just passing the ball over center field with Shube right on his tail, passing it over to 39, back to 12 for Lowell, where Fredrickson's there and Shube there to kick it back over center field towards Lowell territory, where he's met by Raymond for Swampscott. Lowell kicks it out, whistles one and kicks it out of bounds. And Swampscott throws it right back in with no hesitation over to Raymond. Over to Rendondo. Over to Kimbrough. But it's taken back by Lowell, almost taken away by Kimbrough for Swampscott. Passes Fredrickson. Lowell passes it over to 39 for Lowell, bringing it near Swampscott's goal. It's met by 3 Swampscott's player, but is saved by Oberg just in the nick of time. Oberg passes it over to Spelios, taken back by Lowell. And pass to 39 for Lowell. Over to Kimbrough. But it's interfered by 18 and 15 for Lowell. Kimbrough with the save for Swampscott, but is unsuccessful to keeping it in bounds. And Lowell keeps possession of the ball in Swampscott territory.
Sam.
11 is going to kick it in for Lowell in the Swampscott territory as the players line up to stop the kick. Lowell with the kick. Stopped by Raymond for Swampscott. Kicks it a little bit past center field, almost entering Lowell territory, but goes out of bounds, and Lowell keeps possession of the ball. 1-0 here in the MIAA tournament. Spelios passes it over to Rendonde, over to Raymond. Kicks a little bit too far, where he's met by a Lowell player. 32 and 15 for Swampscott. Lowell rush to it as they fight for the ball as it goes out of bounds, and Swampscott keeps possession of the ball. And it's going to be a corner kick from Jack Raymond. Pass it over to Kimbrough, back over to Raymond. Raymond with a high power kick goes way past the goal and out of bounds, where Lowell will get repossession of the ball.
Also back, turn around, let's go. Ball's coming in, ball's coming in. Yeah, you Max.
Number 4 for the kick for Lowell. Passed over to get taken away by Shube and Fredrickson for Swampscott. Gets kicked back to Palmer. Palmer over to Spelios. Spelios over to Shube, taken away by Lowell. It's number 11. Passed over to number 10 for Lowell. Goes out of bounds and seems Lowell will keep possession of the ball in Swampscott territory. Lowell keeping it light and fast as it passes it back to 10. But as Fredrickson takes it back for Swampscott, nearing center field. Fredrickson boots it down to Raymond. It goes a little bit past, and Lowell's goalie will get it. Lowell's goalie with a high kick over the Shube. Back, which leads over to Raymond for Swampscott. Over to Barad for Swampscott. And with a little tap, Raymond loses possession of the ball, but gains it right back as it almost nears goal territory. Kimbrough racing to the edge to save it from going out of bounds. He is successful. Passes over to Rendonde. Over to Croft. Croft over to Palmer. Palmer over to Spelios. Spelios over to Raymond. In Lowell territory, he's stopped by Lowell. And Swampscott will keep possession of the ball, throwing it right back into play with no hesitation over to Raymond. But it's taken away by Lowell. Lowell tries to boot it. Gets it past center field with Shube trying to get it, but it kicks it too far for Shube to get. Goes out of bounds on Lowell, and Swampscott keeps possession of the ball once again. It's taken away by Lowell and goes out of bounds on Swampscott. Lowell keeps possession of the ball. Raymond takes it back for Swampscott. Spelios with the kick, and it goes a little bit to the right, out of bounds. Lowell keeping possession of the ball and dangerously near Swampscott territory as Swampscott gets the ball after going out of bounds on a Lowell player. Swampscott with the throw and taken away by Lowell right away. Palmer with the headbutt. Bringing it over to Spelios, but the whistle is blown, and Lowell keeps possession of the ball in Swampscott territory as they dangerously get close to the goal. The only thing stopping Lowell from scoring is the players, and mostly Charlie Olberg, who's been fantastic tonight, saving every single shot on goal Lowell has brought to them. Lowell with the kick, it's a high one. And it seems to go a little bit over. In fact, it does go a little bit over the net. Almost seems like a goal from where we are up here in the booth, and Olberg gets ready for another kick towards center field. Olberg with a powerful kick, taken right back away from Swampscott for Lowell. Lowell getting close. And Charlie Olberg with another save. Nothing is getting past Charlie Olberg as he passes it over to Spelios for Swampscott. Bring it over to Raymond. Raymond brings it closer down. Over to Kimbrough, but it's a little bit too far for Kimbrough to get as 28 for Lowell. Kimbrough getting possession of the ball back. He's tripped up. 27:15 left to go in the second period. 1-0. And as it seems, Swampscott's lined up to get a penalty kick from Max Arredondo. Swampscott might have another chance to put another score on the board, breaking the score to make it a 2-0 if he's able to get this goal from the penalty kick. And is successful. Max Arredondo with a penalty goal, making the score 2-0 here in the MIAA tournament here in Bloxage Field at Swampscott. a little bit over 27 minutes left here in the second. Another goal for Swampscott. Crowd is getting really amped up tonight. And Lowell will bring us off again with possession of the ball in their own territory. Boots it down to the Swampscott territory where 28 for Lowell will meet them. But is Kimbrough's there to take it back for Swampscott, where Lowell tries to take it back for a second, but Arredondo takes it back over to Raymond. Raymond keeping it in play from going out of bounds, but goes out of bounds. Seems on Swampscott. No, my mistake, goes on Lowell, and Spelios is there to save it for Swampscott. Over to Palmer for Swampscott, over to Camp. Lowell taking it back possession for themselves, but it's over to Shube for Swampscott near center field. Kimbrough's there to save it for Swampscott as he's met up with 17 from Lowell. Croft there with a powerful kick, goes out of bounds. Lowell gets possession of the ball. 17-5 fighting for the ball with Fredrickson for Swampscott. Kimbrough trying to stop it. Kimbrough is successful in stopping it. Boots it down to Lowell territory where he meets Barad. Barad almost with an open shot, but is stopped by the Lowell goalie. Almost a third goal if the Lowell goalie wasn't there. Lowell's goalie with a high open kick towards center field, straight to Swampscott, where Barad will kick it to Kimbrough. And Kimbrough goes down, and Lowell keeps it still in play. Pass it over to 15 for Lowell. 11 for Lowell. Bring it down towards Swampscott territory, where it's stopped by DeCamp. Over to Arredondo. Over to Raymond. It's a far kick to Raymond, and is kicked out of bounds by Lowell, and Swampscott will get possession of the ball.
Let's go, Griffin! Get your head in the game!
Raymond with the throw in for Swampscott over to Shube. Shube passes it over to Spelios, keeping it in play. The pass over over to Palmer. A high kick into Lowell's territory where Kimbrough tries to take it back, but gets passed over to Lowell's 17, where Fredrickson takes down 17 for Lowell with almost a shot on goal, but is unsuccessful as 5 is there for Lowell. Passing over to 39 near center field, keeping it away from Fredrickson.
Never told me to calm. I do not calm. We got that. No, one of that one. The other white fuck.
And here's 11 for Lowell, booting it down to the Swampscott territory, but is stopped by Palmer for Swampscott. But 11 insists on keeping it in Swampscott territory, where Shube is met, kicks it, Lowell kicks it high, hits the crossbar of the football field goal and the high crossbar of the net. The Swampscott, the whistle is blown, and it appears Swampscott will get possession of the ball, if I'm correct. And as Olberg kicks it over to Spelios for Swampscott. Kicks it down the far field to Raymond. Raymond over to Shube. Being brought back to Raymond, taken back by Lowell. Number 15. Lowell boots it down near Swampscott territory. But Pittman says no, brings it over to Rendono. Over to Shube once again. Taken away by Lowell. Stopped by Spelios for Swampscott. Lowell saves it from going out of bounds. But whistle is blown, and as both players for Lowell and Swampscott go down, Lowell keeps possession of the ball in Swampscott territory. And with the kick in for Lowell, goes a little bit left of the goal. And Swampscott will get repossession of the ball in their own territory with a little over 21 minutes left in the second period of this MIAA tournament here in Swampscott. Olberg with a high kick over to Fredrickson, taken away by 11 for Lowell. But as whistle is blown.
Let's go. They're all looking for the short stops. They're short stops. Let's go. Let's go, Quasi.
And Rendondo boots it down to Lowell territory, where it's met by Pittman and Kimbrough. Kimbrough almost with a shot on goal, but Lowell boots it out of the playing field. Swampscott keeping possession of the ball in Lowell territory. And with the pass over to Rendondo, over to Shube, brings it past Lowell, bringing it back out of their own possession. But Spelios is there to keep it for Swampscott, passing over to Raymond. Raymond keeping it in play for Swampscott. Whistle is blown, and Lowell gets possession of the ball. Lowell throwing the ball right back into play with no hesitation as Fredrickson goes down, and Swampscott gets possession of the ball.
When you can run off the fucking field. You
And with a heavy boot in by Shub and a headbutt by Lowell. Ball goes out of bounds and Raymond will throw it in for Swampscott. Raymond passes it over to Redondo, where is met by 39 for Lowell. Back over to Raymond. Raymond with the heavy boot. Stopped by Lowell, almost taken away by Kimbrough for Swampscott. And is kicked right out of bounds, goes into the stands, but right back out into the playing field. And it will stay Swampscott's ball. Swampscott with the heavy throw in over to Kimbrough, but is taken away by Lowell's 17. Spelios is taking possession of the ball away by Lowell. Lowell has it past center field, where is met by Shub. And Palmer to kick it back near center field for Swampscott. Spelios with a heavy kick near, but Lowell boots it right back into near Swampscott's territory. And a 17 takes it for Lowell, kicking it straight down past Pittman, goes out of bounds on Lowell, and it seems Swampscott will get possession of the ball. And Swampscott does get possession of the ball, throwing it right back into play with Raymond. Booting over to Redondo. Back to Shub. Back over to Raymond. A little interruption from a Lowell player. Goes out of bounds and Lowell gets possession of the ball as it goes out on Swampscott. Lowell throwing it right back into play. Trying to keep it in play, but is unsuccessful as it becomes Swampscott's ball. Fredrickson throwing into for Swampscott. A heavy pass straight over the rim. Raymond interfered by Lowell's 17. 35 kicks it, and it goes way out of bounds into the baseball field. Swampscott keeps possession of the ball. Raymond with the throw-in for Swampscott. With a heavy kick near Swampscott. Lowell's goal, my mistake. Goes out of bounds and appears to be, still continues to be Swampscott's ball. With a little over 16 minutes left here in the second period. And Raymond with the light pass and a Redondo goes out of bounds on Lowell. Swampscott will have another kick in. Raymond with the kick in. Hits off the field goal. And Lowell will get possession of the ball. Lowell with a powerful kick exiting out towards center field, but Raymond is there to take it back for Swampscott. Whereas interfered with 7 for Lowell. Passed over to 39. Matt Pittman. Barad, my mistake, tries to take it back, pass it over to Kimbrough. Kimbrough is successful at taking it back for Swampscott, but is brought right back for 15 for Lowell. Fredrickson and 10 for Lowell are fighting it down as they progressively get closer to Swampscott territory. It's stopped by Fredrickson. Oh, and as 10 pushes Fredrickson down. And as things are starting to get hectic for both sides, as Fredrickson is not going to take that type of sportsmanship from 10 for Lowell as he just gets pushed to the ground. Lowell's going to kick it in Swampscott territory as it's 2-0 for Swampscott with 13:53 left in the second half. Time with the kick for Lowell. Curves over to Pittman for Swampscott. Taken back by Lowell's number 12. Goes past 10 for Lowell. Passes over to 15 for Lowell. Gets past Kimbrough. And is stopped in. Olberg almost with a save. Olberg with a great save for Swampscott. Nothing is getting past Olberg today. And as a crowd thanks Charlie for his epic goal saving as he kicks it down a little past center field over to Fredrickson and boots it down the field towards Raymond. Raymond has a one-on-shot goal with the goalie. He kicks it in and it is successful. 3-0 Swampscott here with 12:41 left in the second half. Raymond brings the Swampscott lead up to 3. And the crowd is getting a little hectic.
Number 7, when I fucking got you off this field, next you better have your fucking hands!
The big goal scored by number 16, Jack Raymond.
And Lowell will start off with the ball after a goal by Raymond. Lowell boots it down nearing Swampscott territory. Lowell keeping possession as they're getting closer and closer. Playing on nearing the edge. Getting it past Raymond. But can they get it past Palmer? Pass over to 17 for Lowell. Back over to 10 to 4. Barad's there trying to take back for Swampscott. Is successful, but is taken right back by 15 for Lowell. Raymond just powering through, taking it back for Swampscott. Is taken back, but Arredondo is there. But Lowell boots it near Swampscott territory from the center field. Get brought back for Lowell by 35. Passes over to 10. 10 gets possession of the ball for Lowell, getting dangerously close near the net. It is stopped by Kimbrough. Passing over to Fredrickson. Fredrickson is just bringing it down. Passing over to Arredondo. Booting it down towards Lowell territory, where it is taken away by Lowell, but brought back by Raymond. Raymond boots it down over to Barad. Saved by Lowell goalie. A fantastic save as he just kicks it straight down to center field with wasting no time passing it back to Spelios. But is brought down near the out of bounds line by Lowell. Taken back by Spelios for Swampscott, but is boot down near the goal for Swampscott. But Charlie Olberg's there to save it for Swampscott once again. As play progresses, as Olberg has possession of the ball for Swampscott as goalkeeper. And kicks it down to center field, a powerful kick. It goes past Arredondo over to 13 by Lowell. 10 keeps it in play for Lowell. Pass it over to 4. Goes high up, and it is out of bounds on Lowell.
Oh.
And whistle is stopped once again.
Yeah, thank you.
As Lowell kicks it back, throws it back in. 15 has possession of the ball for Lowell. Pass it over to 39. 18 trying to keep it in. 10 tries to keep it in for Lowell. Unsuccessful as it's Swampscott's ball. Fredrickson will throw it back in. A heavy pass to Broad. 5 kicks it away for Lowell. Straight back to Fredrickson. And whistle is blown. And the crowd is getting wild up, as I'm not sure what is happening. And as Arredondo boots it in to Lowell territory. Whistle is blown right away. Not sure what for. As they seem to be redoing the kick. Arredondo kicking it back in for Swampscott once again for the replay. With 8 minutes left here in the second half. Boots it down over to Raymond and Barad, but Lowell gets in the way, trying to keep it out of their territory. Whistle is blown, and Lowell gets possession of the ball as Kimbrough tries to take it back, but Fredrickson's there, kicking it over to Kimbrough. Brought back to Lowell by number 4. Passes over to number 10.
Fucking space, why are you playing it back?
Over to 13. Barad is just trying to keep up with 10 for Lowell. As Kimbrough's there to help Raymond. Arredondo there to pass it over to Kimbrough, but is a little bit too far and is saved by the Lowell goalie. Throws it far nearing center field for Lowell. As Sawson tries to stop it for Swampscott. Unsuccessful as as Lowell gets it closer into Swampscott territory. Passing over to 17 for Lowell. Gets in the way by Sawson and Arredondo for Swampscott. But Lowell is just powering through, trying to get it in. Charlie Oberg with another save for Swampscott. Nothing is getting past Oberg tonight. Oberg with a high kick, passing a little bit over center field. It is stopped by 9 for Lowell. Over to 15, where Fredrickson is fighting for the ball for Swampscott. Almost has it. Whereas whistle's blown. And 15 just brings it back into play. Kicks it over to 10. It goes right out of bounds. As they do a goalie switch, Lowell keeping possession of the ball in Swampscott territory, where 15 for Lowell will throw it in. Fredrickson trying to make a quick play. 10 for Lowell, passes to 8. Back to 15. And Fredrickson's there, trying to get it back for Swampscott. Kicks it down over, goes out of bounds, and Swampscott gets possession of the ball back here in the second half. And as Croft throws it in for Swampscott, Casey Kearney with the first play of tonight's game gets taken away by 15 for Lowell. Over to 3, back to 15. And Arredondo's there to take it back for Swampscott, bringing it down, kicking it past center field. Casey Kearney's there. It's a one on two, but gets kicked out of bounds as Casey Kearney saves it for a second, and Lowell gets possession of the ball.
Number 7, when I catch you, Ricky, when I fucking catch you, it's offside. Let me tell you. When I catch 10 and 17, they're dead. No, when I catch 7, all your twinkle toes ass is done. I'm so good.
And as 15 kicks it back for Lowell, a powerful kick nearing center field goes straight to Ramos for Swampscott. Goes past, kicks it over to 15 for Lowell. 3 gets possession of the ball. Back to 15, where he boots it down to Swampscott territory. But Ramos is going to kick it back into center field to Kearney. As 15 for Lowell gets it back, bringing it near Swampscott territory. Over to 35. Fredrickson keeping possession of the ball for Swampscott. As he's fighting with 39 to get the ball, passes it over to Kimbrough. Back over to Lowell to 15, over to 4, over to 3, my mistake. And as Ramos boots it down, Casey Kearney trying to take it back for Swampscott is unsuccessful as 5 is bringing it down the field for Lowell. Getting it past center field and nearing Swampscott territory, over to 3. Over to 39, messes up, and Ramos boots it down the field a little past center field. Swampscott gets it back to 13 for Lowell. And Fredrickson trying to get the ball for Swampscott, but 15 for Lowell takes it right back. Pass it over to 39. As Ramos, as 39 for Lowell, trying to bring it near the goal for Swampscott. Unsuccessful as Raymond gets it out of bounds for Swampscott. It's better than going into the goal. As the clock is stopped at 5 minutes and the refs will keep time. It's going to be a kick in for Lowell from number 15. 15 with the kick for Lowell. Goes a little bit too far past, gaining farther distance from the goal for Lowell. Lowell trying to get points on the board as it's coming down to the final minutes here in the second half. Over to 13. And boots it down where Croft will save for Swampscott, but Olberg's there. And as Olberg tries to taunt Lowell players, he has possession of the ball for Swampscott. And as Olberg tries to run out of time, he boots it to center field, where he's met with Sawson for Swampscott. Takes it, Lowell's 9 takes it back for, pass it over to 19.
Go, G.
Kicks it down the field, where Croft with a powerful headbutt over to Arredondo. Back over to Ramos. With a powerful kick from Ramos, Kearney tries to take it for Swampscott, but the goalie saves it just in the nick of time. Lowell passes it over to 15. Ramos rushing to get the ball with Fredrickson trying to help him. Lowell's 15 trying to bring it closer to the net for Swampscott. For Lowell, my mistake. As it's a high pop-up and Olberg will catch the ball. And Olberg once again with a high kick nearing center field. Going past Kearney for Swampscott. Kearney getting possession of the ball for Swampscott, but taking right back and forth between two of the players. Where De La Pont will take it for Swampscott, taken right back by 15 for Lowell. And pass over to 14 for Lowell as it gets slowly into Swampscott territory. A powerful kick saved by Spelios for Swampscott. Over to 39 for Swampscott. For Lowell, my mistake. 15 for Lowell has possession of the ball, nearing Swampscott territory. Fredrickson tried to get in the way. 39 has possession back for Lowell. And Kearney with the try to save it for Swampscott. Successful a little bit as 8 for Lowell takes it back. Spelios bringing it nearing center field. Over to Sawson. Goes out of bounds and Swampscott has possession of the ball. As Lowell kicks it nearing Swampscott territory, headbutted by Pittman for Swampscott. Sawson taking it back, but Lowell boots it high up in the air nearing Swampscott territory. But Croft is there to take it back. A powerful kick into Lowell territory where Kearney will try to save it for Swampscott. This is unsuccessful, and it's Lowell's ball in their own territory. Lowell with the throw in. Over to 15.
Let's go, Luigi! Let's go!
15 bringing it past center field into Swampscott territory.
The whole town of other people, they suck.
With a powerful kick. And that will do it as the final whistles of the game blows. Swampscott advancing in the MIAA tournament with a powerful lead of 3-0 Swampscott. And that is going to do it here at Block City Shield tonight, here on a cold November night. I'm Josh Harriman. Thank you for joining me here tonight for this great matchup. Both teams have done a wonderful job. Swampscott comes on top. And that will be all here tonight.